Hey guys, I will not have time to complete lecture 4B, the recording. I have it done. It's linked, so you could check it out if you would like. There are notes on there. I just ran out of time. And for, trying to not stress too much, I will cover that when I get back. So this video, I'm going to be covering project 4 specifically. And so I didn't share my screen. So I'll be covering this on Monday when I get back. However, just as an update on everything, I do have the keynote. So, but yeah, I'll be covering the project 4 in detail here, and everything's on the schedule as well. So I'll just kind of preview it for you. So lecture 4, right? The keynote, and then my recording. And this is what I'll cover Monday. I'll give you guys a printout of vocab 4 too, but if you feel like you're behind on some of the lingo, you want to get caught up, some of that'll help. And exercise 4A, the Adobe Illustrator is done. Should have watched that before this, I guess, in reality, to give you a primer of where we're going with this project. And so this is going to just be a video on this project now that I've updated you. So I just realized I don't have the proposal page up. The proposal will have the description of like what I want you to be writing there. It's going to be kind of like a two-parter, since we do have 2 programs. So it'll be a proposal like what it is you're going to be trying to do for a logo. And then it'll be like the first draft of your final portfolio statement. So like your semester statement. What have you learned? What are you hoping to do with this? That sort of thing. I'll have the prompt there. So so this project, there's some basic background you could look into. Again, we're going to be using 2 programs. So this will be first time doing this. It is a little tricky since I'm not here for the one that we're starting first. However, kind of be mindful of how you think this experience is going, aside from the one day or, this 1 week I'm out. But you have all the content still, right? As I'd be interested in like how you think these 2 projects will be pairing together. Over time, I'd like to do more of those kind of dual program projects. So your big deal here is you're going to be stealing concepts. So yes, there is 2 components of this project. There's a little bit more time. The big deal, though, is that you're kind of taking ideas from out and about. So I already mentioned in the one previous video that, you can use Google image search. You could look through magazines, anywhere that's got logos. And as far as the layout goes, Let me double check how I did the schedule. Complete the exercise. Yeah, submit the first part of your proposal. So the end of next week, you'll submit your proposal for the logo component. All right, so I'm going to be covering both sections here, but before we come back, you'll be focusing on just that. And then once that's kind of set, next week we will be going through, probably have to push things back a little bit, right? So the work session on Wednesday will be shrunk a bit, but so I'll be going over the lecture on layout design on that Monday, and then the exercise, and then or part of the exercise, I will be giving you guys magazines in class you could check out, that you can start taking photos for reference in terms of what kind of layout that you will be sketching out. And, you can start gathering that content now anytime as well, right? Like it's coming. And I will be linking at the bottom of the project page, and just in general, it's on UBbox, examples of past student portfolio projects. However, note, I had only done it one semester so far, and they don't have graphical logos, right? They didn't have that part. They had their own Illustrator projects separate. So, at least it'll give you a sense of the layout. But again, make sure you're looking ahead, because we will be discussing your logo design concepts as well as your layout design concepts. All of them should be sketched up and proposed by 427. So please, please, please plan accordingly. Otherwise, the rest of the semester, you'll feel like you aren't up to speed, right? It's really important to kind of be prepared so that we can go along steadily. So this project, as I mentioned, is in two parts, and as such, you will be creating thumbnail sketches for the logo, but then also a sketch for the layout, right? And I only need you to do one page of each. The logo options should be a little bit more of a variety, right? Like several on the page. And you're toying with different concepts. So you might have a graphical component with some type. And obviously there's a ton of ways to do this, right? So how is it that you're going to represent your identity? So that being said, the sketches for your logo, like your whole purpose of this logo is you will be incorporating some sort of image content. This can be a huge variety of things. The point is that you're using the tools in Illustrator. So it could be very minor. It could be, a major part of your logo design. And I did go over that in the exercise. So the image converting is pretty smooth. Pathfinding, we're going to probably have to touch up on that because I ran into issues when I went to do a off the cuff example. Illustrator couldn't process it. So your brand, your logo will incorporate some sort of image content, could be minor. but then it will be utilizing color, and you could do a single color logo, or you can get into up to 3 colors. Beyond up to 3 colors, it gets to be too complex, right? So this has white, black, blue, and green. That's 4. Kind of too much. We don't have time for like a whole campaign here. So, and type. So type, you're going to be focusing on type, color, integrating image, some current kind of image content. Or you could think of it as like ripping apart an image, right? Like how are you converting pixels into objects, and then how are you harnessing those objects? So textures or whatever. Okay, it is a little bit obscure. It's supposed to be open to you, and you know, every time someone does a first project, it's always going to be a little open, a little you know, unclear, but it's really, you know, everyone's going to be completely different no matter what. So until it's done several times, you know, faculty will be able to develop some further insight to deliver in terms of how to approach things. So then your spread will include the 7 basic elements of design, and all of these are going to be articulated in the lecture. I mean, so the lecture is linked if you want to go look at it. There's videos embedded that will give clear understanding of the 7 elements, but we will be watching them in class. So no need for the redundancy. It's just, if, you know, if you need that comprehension of where your logo is going to be going. Let me see if I have some saved. I don't know. I don't think they're on this computer. Fall. Because I just bought this new computer and I need ample time. I've got 2 other computers, and they're almost a terabyte. I got to convert or combine everything into this computer. It's a lot. So I try to keep track of some of the better examples. So this was a layout spread, right? There's 2 pages, but in the PDF, you know, you can export a PDF as being a spread, which is both side by side, or individual pages. So this would be a spread, right? And this is one of the better ones. It incorporated all of these different 7 elements. So you could pause the video and look through and compare this to the 7 elements. Line, shape, color, texture, type, balance, focus. And then you also will be including your logo, right? And it will have a QR code so that you can link it right to a digital version online. It'll be interactive, so we'll be covering a couple of those things. The interactive thing is just a couple toggles. You can make something move or play or whatever. So pretty easy. So that'll be kind of like an example of hosting. And then you'll have a final class statement. So the class statement is about all of the projects together, but you can also speak on behalf of the logo. So, you know, as time goes on, you'll go through the different drafts. So the first draft proposal for the layout will be kind of updated as you solidify your logo and start working on your project. Okay. I can try to give you a couple more examples here, but I will upload these and link it as well. Right. So this is another one, also incorporating all 7 elements that I mentioned previously. So something like this, right? Very graphical, just like the S for her name. But this could quite as easily just be a logo you make. So they did an entire project, right? Several weeks on a project in Illustrator. You're only working in it in like a week and a half, something like that, to generate something streamlined, right? A graphical component to then add to your layout. Okay. And again, it's not going to be a ton of research and development. It's really just like stealing concepts. So there's not for a lot for me to really articulate on. It's pretty cut and dry. There are, again, various levels of technical requirements, and we'll go over them. But this is like, can you mitigate digital content to use for various tasks, right? Can you make a spread? Can you upload that spread? Can you send a PDF of that spread? Can you articulate that? So, we've done a lot of examples now. So or a lot of projects, a few projects. So I think that those are all like kind of warm-ups to getting you to this point where you can really focus in on how do you want to represent yourself. So I will say that it's a little vague as of right now on how you could approach the logo. I don't have examples of that. So it's really going to be up to you to kind of look up some examples and think of like, this incorporates type. This incorporates maybe some sort of imagery, and it incorporates 3 colors. That's kind of what you're looking for, right? So there could be examples that don't abide by that. Don't use them as reference, So, and there could be iconic logos that you could steal from or steal concepts from. So like MTV, you can see here, I don't know if this is actually transparent or not, but you can see like this was cut out of the shape. We can do that. We have Pathfinder to be able to do this. You can do this with your project. I guess this is also a really good time. I forgot about it. I'm kind of I got a lot on my mind right now, but I really love the effort that goes into being able to use your own type and scanning that in, not taking the photo, scanning it in so you get that fidelity and bringing that scan into Illustrator. If you can do your own type, I would consider that as also that I would consider it as type, but also an image because you converted it, right? So if you do use your own image, like that you drew and you scan it in, I can refresh you in scanning if need be in class, but I want you to then include an original image in your submission of your original sketch that you scanned in, so I can see what you started with. So that could be a coverall instead of like trying to work with imagery. It could be complex. I would allow you to do some sort of hand-drawn, incorporate that. And what's nice is hand-drawn could give a little bit more insight into you, right? So hand-drawn logos, you can do a sort of search for that too, and think of like the ways in which you're visualizing that. It's just a general marker. How are you doing it? You can do paints on paper. It's really open, super open. And then we were able to convert that photo into graphical content, into vectors. So, really keep that in mind. It's kind of spaced in my mind while trying to prep all this, but I will I would allow the hand-drawn type to proceed to cover both of those requirements. So that's about all I can come up with right now. I did throw some examples on here. That, you know, this is even from last semester. So we'll be working with body type, like being able to manage that, and you know. So apologies, I didn't get a recording done for the lecture 4B, but again, it is all on the website. Generally, like faculty, full-time faculty, if they had to take a time off, you guys would just have the time off and lose class time. Since I'm an adjunct, I don't get vacation days. So I have this week off that I've planned ahead of time. But instead of just walking away and saying, well, you guys just have to wait for me, I am actually keeping you guys up to date as best I can, right? I've got all this content online, except for that one recording I'll cover in class. And, you know, trying to keep you up to date as best I can, even though if I'm taking the day off, I don't have to. So I want you guys to know that I'm still really trying to give you the best experience I can while being able to do what I need to do. So, so yeah, I also would say, if you do have questions, please write them down. Or you can work in the lab and talk to each other and kind of ask each other the questions, right? Be focusing on like, oh yeah, I was confused on this part. Maybe I had something confusing. You could ask them, right? You can help each other out. So, and I can give clarity when I come back. Try to avoid emails this week. I won't have great cell service probably. I'm gonna try to not reply to a lot of emails. So, you know, please take that in consideration. Keep down notes and questions, right? Get through the exercise best you can, get that in a time, and then get your proposal in, and, you know, do your research, start looking up some stuff. All right. So hopefully this is a pretty good kind of starting point, and I'll see you guys when I'm back. All right. Take care.